everybody, and welcome back to OTN Paranormal. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Reagan, and I have a treat for you guys today. We're going to be going over my top 10 cryptid, and for those of you who don't know what that means, cryptozoology is the study of animals and creatures who arguably inhabit our planet. By that, I mean scientists just don't really know. It is a very interesting subject, so for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, buckle up because it's about to be a crazy ride. And for those of you who do, make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. I'm excited to get into it, so let's go. Alrighty, to start us off, I have the rougarou. The legends of the rougarou in Louisiana has gone on for centuries, putting fears in locals for as long as they can remember. Now, the creature is described as a form of evil. Most of the time, it isn't a werewolf, but there has been one specific local who thought it was a chicken. You're gonna need to cut that out, because it still just hurts my brain to think about. Rougarou is the American pronunciation for the Latin name lugru, which quite literally just means man, lu, turning into animal, guru. When it comes to the stories of the Louisiana rougarou, is kind of all over the place. Some locals seem to think that they see things in the swamp, others just believe it's a folktale, but no matter what you believe, everybody uses it to put fear into their kids to make sure they're home by dark. But even those who don't believe, make sure to clarify that just because they haven't seen it doesn't mean they want to. Clarifying that, you know, it's still pretty freaky, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to wake up to that either. Okay, so for number 2 on my list, I have the Hopkinsville Goblins. In 1955, 5 adults and 7 children went to the Hopkinsville police station to report small alien-like men attacking their farm. Elmer Stutton and Billy Ray Taylor go on to tell the police that they've been fighting off 12 to 15 dark green creatures for the past 2 hours with gunfire, that they've been entering through the doors and through the windows and nothing was stopping them. This put a lot of fear into the police for multiple reasons. First of all, gunfire was not stopping them, and they didn't really know what they were fighting. So a lot of locals, along with state troopers and sheriffs and even police from the U.S. Army in the nearby station, came up and they all went to the farmhouse to go check it out. Ironically, they found nothing. They searched the whole property, but the only thing they could find was bullet wounds and gun residue from the shot at the supposed creatures. They continued to look into it a little bit more, but with the lack of evidence, they just kind of gave up. Number 3 on my list is the Flatwoods Monster. Now, the Flatwoods Monster has not made an appearance, or at least not a reported one, since 1952. But the last time anybody ever saw it, it scared the pee out of people. Quite literally. One boy peed himself. Sad. Now, the boys that saw it, it wasn't just them, it was their mother and their dog as well, were between the ages of 10 and 17, so they weren't exactly children. These people reported seeing a 10-foot monster in the woods with the body the color of blood red and a face glowing green. Possibly had claws for hands, but they didn't really know. They were scared and they ran off. Now, in a very small town that only had 300 people in it, this was huge. Newspapers were writing stories off of this one crazy family, or crazy family, no one really knows. From all the fear that it caused, no one was going out after dark or before the break of dawn. If the sun was not up, you were in your house. It was wild. Because of all the fear put into this small town with only one sheriff, no one was really willing to investigate. I mean, would you go into the scary woods looking for the big monster no one knew how to fight off? I wouldn't. You know what's scarier than a monster in the woods? Children. To be more specific, children with black eyes. And that's what number 4 on my list is the children with black eyes. In 1998, Brian Bethel, a journalist, makes a report of 2 young children walking up to his car in the parking lot of a movie theater and knocking on the window. He said that he could tell something was wrong as soon as they went up to his car, starting with the fact that they had black eyes. The kids made a simple request for a ride home, and Brian just couldn't bring himself to do it. He said the kids were too creepy and that made them mad. Now, after saying a pretty odd things, they ended up leaving eventually. This wasn't the first or the only report of the black-eyed children, but all reports have very similar things in common. Like, the children are always between the ages of 8 and 18. They always have really pale skin and black eyes. The kids make very easy requests to get inside of your home or your vehicle, like they need to use your phone, or they need something to eat, or they need a ride home. Now, this didn't really get to me until I continued to look into it and realized that you only find reports from people who denied the children. You cannot find anything from anyone who has ever given in to their requests. What happens to them? If you can figure it out, make sure to let me know down below, because I have no idea and it is scrambling my mind thinking about it. For my halfway point, I have the Gloucester Wool. The Gloucester Wool was first spotted in 1839 by a pirate named Albert Hicks. He was out in the middle of the night searching for treasure, ? And he said that he had felt the presence of something watching him. When he turned around, he saw a beast the size of a cow with what he reported to say eyes that looked like fire, and when he breathed, flames came out of his nostrils and out of his mouth, burning everything in his path as he walked. Said not only was it the size of a cow, but it was covered in scales that made noise as it moved. He looked away and looked back, and it was gone. That sounds absolutely horrifying. He looked into it later on that day after nighttime had gone away, because him, like any other normal human being, had left. I wouldn't want to stick around and see what's going to happen, and neither did he. He came back the next morning and took a look, and all he could find was burnt plants everywhere, but no footsteps, nothing. The beast was gone, and he did not go back there in the evening. Yikes. For number 6 on my list, I have sea serpents. In the 17th century, Massachusetts colonialists reported seeing sea serpents from ship and from shore. In 1779, a sea serpent was spotted from a ship and its captain. The captain reported seeing a creature that was at least 10 feet long and faster than anything he had ever seen before. This was just the first sighting of Cassie in the Casco Bay area. Questionable sightings happened all the way through the 18th century until finally another solid one came in the 19th. A 100-foot cod-like fish was reported, and the person reporting it said they only got a slight glimpse of it, but was sure of what they saw before it swam to the bottom of the ocean. He continued to look, but couldn't really find anything. Looking into it more, I found more reports all the way up to 2016, and haven't really been able to find anything after that. So if you ask my opinion about the situation, if you don't believe in sea serpents or sea monsters at this point, you're missing something. You gotta do more research. There's way too much ocean for it to not be real, and it's just absolutely wild to me. Look into it, it's worth it. Now, I would like you to take a minute and imagine you take your lover out on a date. You're going for a walk after dinner, and right as you're about to make your move, you hear a noise behind you. You turn around to find a creature with 10-foot wings and red eyes, and it starts chasing you. You start running because your life actually depends on it at this point. Horrifying. This actually happened. With the number 7 on my list, I give to you Mothman. In November of 1966, Mothman decided to show himself to the world, starting with 2 grave diggers in the middle of the night. They reported seeing a weird creature above their head. 2 nights later, a young couple reports to the police station that they were walking down the road when a creature with 10-foot wings and red eyes started chasing them. Reports of what newspapers called Mothman had happened consistently for the next year, terrorizing Point Pleasant in West Virginia. Most locals believe that Mothman lives in an abandoned nuclear power plant right outside of town. Some locals believe that Mothman is an escaped government project. I don't know what I think. It's pretty interesting. I wouldn't want to run into him. He sounds pretty scary, and if you look into pictures, you probably wouldn't want to run into him either. For number 8 on my list, I have the Dover Demon. First spotted April 21st in 1977, Bill Bartlett and his friends were driving around Dover, Massachusetts, when they turned down a street named Farm Street. This street was surrounded by fields and forest, when they saw an animal climbing over a stone wall. They stopped, put their lights on, and the creature froze. When Bartlett described the creature, he said the body was the size of a baby's body. It had long arms and legs, and the head was the size of the body, almost quote-unquote melon-shaped. After several sightings of the Dover demon, local papers started writing story after story, eventually even including the Boston Globe. With the multiple sightings of the Dover demon, no one ever truly figured out what it was. So, what do you think it was? Could you imagine a kangaroo with the face of a horse, the head of a dog, bat-like wings, horns, and a tail? Let me tell you about number 9 on my list. I got the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil sightings happened all throughout the 19th century, especially while visiting the Hanover Mill Works. But sightings went as far as Delaware to Western Maryland. Now, in 1909, newspapers started writing frequent stories about encounters with the Jersey Devil, normally starting with the attack of or the attempt attack of. Good news is that sightings haven't really happened and there hasn't been any reports recently, but oh my God, could you imagine going out for a walk, seeing that thing? Can't imagine it's short. Kangaroos are pretty tall, so like... Okay, so before I get on to my number 10, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. I'm curious. If you can, because your phone just so happens to be broken and you live in Maine, head on over to the cell phone repair shop in Augusta. We will have the address for you right here. Get some fantastic service at a great price. Come on back and subscribe. Alrighty, so last but not least, I have a favorite in the cryptid community, Bigfoot, or otherwise known as Sasquatch. Now, Bigfoot has had multiple sightings all over North America, including but not limited to Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Maine. Now, if you don't already know, Bigfoot has been described to be a large, hairy creature 6 to 9 feet tall, with footprints found being somewhere between 24 inches long and 9 inches wide. If you don't know, that is huge. Now, Bigfoot sightings still happen right up until this day, and the hunt for Bigfoot still happens daily in multiple people's lives, which is crazy to think about, and to be honest, I kind of want to go look. So if you'd like to see me go look, make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know. Also, if you guys have any Bigfoot stories, I would love to hear them because they were very interesting to read about. So make sure you let me know down below. Alright guys, so that is all I have for you for things that you didn't know possibly could be in your backyard. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like it up to let me know, leave a comment letting me know what you want to see next, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. I really love being here, and I hope you guys have a great night. That anyone saw it, it quite literally scared the pee out of himself. That was wrong. Okay, I'll try that again. Children. Farmhouse. Elmer Stratton and Billy Ray Taylor went on to tell the police. Now, the Flatwoods Monster happened all throughout the 19th century. Well, especially